It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and thanks for tuning in yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, a business variety show each morning as I talk to different business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders about what they are doing in Tampa Bay to make a difference. So I invite you to please tune in each and every morning, take a break from some of the political, sports, and news talk that dominates our airwaves each morning with a show about what is right with Tampa Bay. As always, I invite you to my website, tampabayradio.com. Over there, all shows available on demand via the show info tab, and you can review a lot of other information on the site. Check out all of our past guests via the guest network tab. And also, you'll see I sell real estate. That is my regular day job. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, please reach out to me. There's a contact form on the website. And as always, I do offer a free home valuation to all of my listeners. Just click on the Sell Your Home link on the homepage, put in the information on your home, and then I'll shoot you over a free home valuation. Get those out typically within 24 to 48 hours. And the market in the Tampa Bay region, very undersupplied. We need some inventory, and you may be surprised what you would get for your home right now. A lot of homes getting bid up in multiple offer situations. So again, if you're looking to possibly sell your home, reach out to me and let me get you over a free home valuation. Again, tampabayradio.com. Got a great show planned for you today. On the second part of the show, we talk with Dr. Deepa Verma. She is a double board certified physician and owner of Synergistic Integrative Health, and also Ed Suyak, who is a leading expert in creating and publishing custom and niche publications and owner of Mashed Media Group, is in with me today. But up first, Kip Marlow is the host of Entrepreneur Club Radio, a radio show dedicated to sharing the successes of entrepreneurship, and he is the author of The Entrepreneur's Success and Sacrifice, which chronicles the stories of 22 successful entrepreneurs. Kip has a passion for unlocking the secrets of successful people and has founded the Risk Takers to capture some of those secrets. Kip, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm delighted to be here.
Hey, it's great to talk to a fellow radio show host who also shares the love of entrepreneurship here.
You bet. I think we have a lot in common.
Absolutely, we sure do. First off, tell the audience a little bit about your entrepreneurial history. You were an entrepreneur, sold your business, got into radio, but tell me about your entrepreneurial path.
Oh, my. It's a crazy entrepreneurial story. I got fired from a job.
Right.
And so I kind of realized I wasn't a corporate kind of guy, so I just started my own company. Developing surgical instruments and patenting them for the world to like, I hope.
Right.
And it worked pretty well. There were good times and there were bad times, but it worked pretty well. And I sold the company. And now my mission in life is to educate and actually encourage people to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Did you know that you were an entrepreneur in your earlier life, or did you believe that everybody can be an entrepreneur?
No, I don't believe everybody can be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know I was an entrepreneur in the earlier life. In fact, I call myself right now a recovering entrepreneur after selling the company. But at the time, I couldn't even spell entrepreneur.
Right.
E before the U.
Right. Now, tell me a little bit about your radio show, Entrepreneurs Club Radio. You talk to different business owners, entrepreneurs, things of that nature. Tell me a little bit about your show, too.
Well, we just have stories to tell. And it's usually a successful entrepreneur who went through all kinds of problems and failures and admits their failures. For example, people that failed their way to success. They are the people that come onto my show every Tuesday morning here in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's a delight.
Yeah, and you write about this in your book, The Entrepreneurs, the Success and Sacrifice, where you chronicle 22 of these stories. Share with the audience one of these stories that you've learned, and that you share in this book.
Oh, one of them. There's a ton of stuff in there, but one of them is a friend of mine. Actually, he's recently passed away. He graduated from college with a PhD in microbiology. Went to work for a very large company that made surgical sterilizing equipment, and he thought he would find a way to be able to sterilize. I don't know if you're familiar, Jamie, with the term colonoscope or colonoscopy, but I am intimately familiar
right.
with it. And but before Ray came along, his name is Dr. Ray Kralovic. Before Ray came along, you couldn't sterilize colonoscopes. You could only clean and disinfect them. because the sterilization process would destroy them. So he had this idea how he was going to do it, and he went to his bosses several times, kept saying, "Hey, just give me $100,000 and a desk in a corner, and I'll create this, and we'll revolutionize the way surgical instruments, especially colonoscopes, are sterilized." And he pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and finally he pushed it at the company picnic, Jamie, and he got fired. Now, right. I've been fired, but I've never been fired at a company picnic before. So he, instead of going back and finding another job, he just took the risk and said, "By golly, I can do this myself." He raised a little bit of money. His wife, he had wife and 3 children. His wife was a nurse, and the rest is kind of history. He developed this product. It is now a $3 billion a year company with 5,000 employees worldwide, just because Ray believed in himself and took that risk.
Yeah, and being an entrepreneur is all about, taking a risk, and that's something that you speak of a lot. Tell me, why is being a successful entrepreneur all about taking risks?
You got to take a risk. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, and you have a family, for example, I started my company by my wife, and I had 2 kids at the time. And we had one car payment, a house payment, and you just take that risk. You just have to believe in yourself that it's going to happen, and you have to know that you're going to fail along the way. And my wife was a delight because she said, "Kip, you handle the company issues, I'll handle the kids in the house. Don't worry.
Right.
Just build that company." And she let me do it, and the rest is kind of history. We sold it and cashed out.
Yeah, I mean, why are some people afraid to take, the risk, though, in entrepreneurship? What separates the entrepreneur from the person who has that great idea but, just doesn't move on it?
Maybe, Jamie, it's self-esteem. Maybe they're just afraid to fail. Maybe the people around them were negative about somebody taking that risk. And I'm sure in your business that if you hang around negative people, that's not good for you or your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
That's part of the reason. And plus, many people, if you've got 4 kids and house payments and all that kind of stuff, it's hard to take that risk, and I can understand that.
Yeah, and I speak about that a lot. I want to maintain a positive image, don't want to bring negativity into my life, and you just see it all over social media with the people that your friends and stuff. You just see so much negativity. You think, take a positive attitude and try something. You'd be surprised what comes out of it.
There's absolutely no question about it. Life is an attitude. And if you have a positive attitude, you're going to win. If you hang around with people that don't have a positive attitude and say, "What are you doing that for?" then you're not going to win. So it's a choice. I'm pro-choice. It's a choice that you have to make.
Right. Now, tell me about your latest project, the Risk Takers, where you're taking these 60-second samples from different successful people and sharing the secrets of their success. But tell us about this part of your business.
Well, I've got 150 of them in the cloud, stored in the clouds now, and we have about 65 stations across the country that are playing them. They're just 60-second little tidbits of information about famous and some infamous entrepreneurs and what made them tick, why they did what they did, and how they failed and then became a success. And for example. Are you familiar with the company Under Armour?
Yes, I am.
Well, Kevin Plank was a college football player, and he played for Maryland. And those 2-a-day summer workouts that just kill you. They would go back to the locker room after the first workout. You take off your equipment, and the cotton T-shirts are dirty and sweat stained, and he decided at that point in time that when he graduated, he was going to find a garment that didn't do that. And he went to the garment district in New York and found a kind of material that works. He made them in his grandmother's basement, where he lived, by the way, and sold them out of the trunk of the car to local colleges. Well, now Under Armour is a $3 billion a year company with I don't know how many thousands of employees. It has gone public, and because of that sweaty old T-shirt, Kevin Plank is now worth $4 billion.
Yeah.
Call call it sweat equity.
Yeah, that's a great story right there. That reminds me of a story. I was in my college a capstone class on strategic business and management. I remember the instructor sharing the story of the founding of FedEx. I forget the guy's name who founded it, but I think it was Harvard Business School. He was asked to write a paper on a conception of a company, and he wrote about FedEx and overnight delivery anywhere in the world. And the professor read the paper and said, "This is a great paper, very well written, but for me to give you anything higher than a C, it's got to be conceivable and actually doable." Years later, he obviously launched FedEx, and it was just a great story on the founding of it. He wrote about it. Professor didn't believe it. He didn't believe him, though. He went out there, he took that risk, which is so important to entrepreneurship. Absolutely. So
no question. His name is Fred Smith, and I did a Risk Takers vignette on him too.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had the name there for me. There, I couldn't think of his name off the top of my head, but I just a great story. I love to share that with fellow business owners or people that are out there thinking about taking that risk and being afraid of it can't happen. It can't happen. You'd be surprised what can happen. You just got to get the right people around you.
Absolutely, and the rest of the story is he really didn't think about all kinds of packages all over the world. He was really working just with banks.
Yeah. Yep.
And sending checks all around the world, and or canceled checks all around the world, and that is just a wonderful story. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Fred Smith's story is one of the iconic stories of business, at least in the last century.
Yeah, absolutely. Kip, I got to wrap it up with you, but real quick, where can people pick up your book, The Entrepreneur's Success and Sacrifice? You can go straight to that little company on the West Coast called Amazon.com, or you can go to my website at ecrsuccess.com. All right, sounds like a plan. Kip, thank you very much for checking in this morning, and a great interview. I appreciate talking to you. Thank you so much. Hope to be back on. Sounds like a plan. All right, and everybody, that was Kip Marlow. He's an author, business advisor, strategist, and also host of Entrepreneur Club Radio. Stay tuned. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com. Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage wants you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close.
They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Crash on the northbound side of the Veterans Expressway just before Gun Highway, blocking the left-hand lane. Also reports now of a bad crash on the Suncoast Parkway between State Road 52 and State Road 54. Pinellas County crash on 49th Street north of 62nd Avenue North, one on Belcher south of Almerton, and 66th Street and Park Boulevard. See traffic problems? Call the entry firm of Abrahamson and Udar Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Think It Up.
Hi, I'm Nick Jonas, and I'm here to tell you about Think It Up, a new initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join us at thinkitup.org.
Today, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 93. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 79. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 93.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Happy Monday, and thanks for tuning in yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find this show on here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, and the show is always looking for new guests, new partners, new sponsors, things of that nature. So if you have any interest in getting involved in the show, I invite you to please reach out to me. The best way to get me is through my website, tampabayradio.com. Over there is a contact form, so please just send me a message and let me know how you'd like to get involved in this show. Come on in and tell me your story. If you're a business owner or entrepreneur or political or community leader or an attorney, always looking for a guest for this show. This show's on every single morning at 8 a.m. Do the show live, and each morning is something different. So I'm always looking for content, always have slots to fill. So if you have anything out there in the community you'd like to share with us, please, again, reach out to me, tampabayradio.com. Also, please connect with me on all the social media sites. I'm over on facebook.com/That Business Show for all the show updates. Also on Twitter under the name Jamie_Maloney. Time to bring on my next guest for the show. Ed Suyak is a leading expert in creating and publishing custom and niche publications from concept to completion. His 15-plus years in media publishing and media sales has provided him an experience in a wide variety of publication genres. Currently, he serves as the managing director for Mashed Media Group and publisher for several magazine titles as well. Ed, welcome to the show today.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So first off, tell me what Mashed Media Group is.
Mashed Media Group is a company that we produce custom and niche publications. So there's kind of two sides to it. One is publications that we own. Mm-hmm. The other side is publications that we do private label for companies or corporations that either want an internal publication or maybe they want a publication for their customers. Right. So the side of the private where we actually own the magazines is probably the primary business. And then the secondary portion of it is companies that actually would like to produce their own magazine. And it's not an advertising-driven magazine. It's more of a content magazine for their customers or internal.
Now, how did you get started in the magazine publishing business? How did all this come about?
Yeah, and that's kind of a crazy story because I worked for a bunch of publishing companies in all different places, like all different portions of the job, mm-hmm. From sales to when I was a kid, basically was like an intern type, position. And I started to really enjoy it, but I was really more on the sales side. I always did more of the ad sales, the media sales. And I really I think at heart, I was always a serial entrepreneur, mm-hmm. meaning I kind of, every day I would go to work and I loved what I did, but I didn't love the fact that I was doing it for somebody else. Right. And I sat down one day and started figuring out a way where I could do it for myself. And because I had worked in so many different portions of that business, I understood each portion of the business. And I think the biggest portion was making sure that you could create a magazine that could drive revenue. And I'd already did that. What was the first brand or niche publication that you dealt with or that you founded? The first publication we did was a publication called One Heart Magazine, which was a great publication. It was a kind of a philanthropic magazine for cardiologists. Mm-hmm. And we worked with a local company, Heartbeat International, which they provide pacemakers for people that couldn't afford it in other countries. And they would travel around the world. They had boots on the ground. They had doctors on the ground. They would put pacemakers in people. And it was just a great story. And there was a lot of great content. So we created a magazine called One Heart Magazine. That drove me into Doctor's Life magazine.
Right, and Doctor's Life magazine is based here in Tampa, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, talk to me about what Doctor's Life magazine is.
So Doctor's Life came from because One Heart was very kind of journal style or clinical, even though it was still had that philanthropy side to it. And I had realized that all the doctors that were receiving the magazine, not just that one, but pretty much every journal that was 125 pages or more, were stacked in a corner somewhere. So I was asking some of my friends and colleagues that were physicians, I said, do you actually read this? And they said, we thumbed through it, but they're inundated, I'm sure, with information all day long. So I looked at Doctor's Life and I said, wow, I said, if we could create something that was under 32 pages, that had 3 or 4, really good articles, not clinical, but more on the business side and more on the legal side and maybe some wealth management and some lifestyle. I thought that would be...
Okay, so Doctor's Life is more than just medical stories then?
Yes.
You get into the legal issues, things of that nature, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we work with contributors here in Tampa Bay that are professionals in their own respected genre. And, we write about anything from wealth management to legal to, diets, working out, anything that we think would be interesting to a physician, which that would cover almost everything because they're still people.
Now, is the magazine for just people that work in the medical industry? Can consumers get something out of this magazine too? Who's the magazine designed for, this magazine specifically?
It's specifically designed for physicians. However, we get emails and calls all the time from patients because obviously at some point it ends up in the lobby maybe.
Right.
And so, but it's geared towards doctors. All the articles are specific to them, but there's anybody could get something out of it. Because like our wealth management section does talk a lot about wealth management, but it's still a generalized, wealth management section. So pretty much anybody could get something.
Now, how do doctors become contributors to the magazine for anybody that's in the medical field out there that, is looking to up their profile? Obviously, branding through, publications is a key component of that. How do they get involved with your magazine?
We're always looking for doctors to submit. Like anybody that's in content, we're always looking for content. So typically what happens is a PR firm or a friend, a colleague, somebody calls me and says, hey, I've got, this doctor that's doing this. It's, he's making big changes here or she's making big changes there. And this is their story. And I'll listen to the story. And if the story's really good and there's something that I think would be interesting to other physicians, then I'll call up a couple physicians that I know and say, hey, would you read about this? And if they say yes, we take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you vet the stories, though? Or do you have a panel or something that reads?
Yes.
I guess is looking for make sure it's not dysfactual, so to speak.
Yeah, and I have a staff of people that read through everything because we do get inundated with all kinds of stuff, and a lot of times we get a lot of articles that are kind of people, I call it shouting on the rooftop about their business, and that's not the type of articles we like. We like the articles or content that has a purpose, or it's educational, or it tells a story, of why or how they did it, and if it's inspirational to me, then I'll reach out to kind of a small panel of physicians that I have as colleagues and say, would you read this? Would this be interesting to you?
How long have you had this publication in circulation?
The publication started in 2008. It was actually a company out of Fort Myers that was doing it first, and it was a very clinical kind of style magazine. I took it over in 2010 and just kind of changed the content and made the direction more, again, about the business and the lifestyle and the legal portions and just areas of content that probably typically...
Hold that point there. We've got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, I want to talk a little bit more about that and your Remodel Tampa Bay magazine. Currently, you're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
It's in the median, so you have the left lane blocked in both directions there. Also in Tampa, we have still some slow traffic on the southbound side of the Veterans Expressway from Limebell to Waters. Northbound, there was a crash just before Gun Highway in the left-hand lane. Over in Pinellas County, crash on Belcher south of Almerton, also 66th Street and Park Boulevard. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abraham Son and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the American Association for Cancer Research. The American Association for Cancer Research is the world's first and largest organization dedicated to finding cures through research. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org.
A 30% rain chance this afternoon with a high of 93, heading down to 79 tonight. Tomorrow, again, a 30% rain chance in the afternoon with 93 for a high. 1250 winds, WHNZ. Impact Radio.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. Learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talk with Ed Suyak. He is the founder and managing director for Mashed Media Group, and you can learn more about him and his company at mashedmediagroup.com. Ed, you're also, we're just talking about Doctor's Life magazine, a Tampa-based magazine geared towards physicians, but also touches on legal aspects and things of, running a business within the magazine as well. You're also Remodel Tampa Bay, another magazine based here in Tampa. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, no, that's it's actually a really exciting magazine because it's for the National Association of Remodeling Industry, the Tampa Bay chapter, which the publication it goes to consumers. So it goes all over Tampa Bay, and it's also available at Publix. But the unique thing about the magazine is that a homeowner could actually, when they pick up the magazine, every single person that's in the magazine, whether it's an advertiser or even content portion, has to be approved. They have to be licensed. They have to go through like a code of ethics for NARI, and it gives people like
NARI. Define NARI. Yeah, we didn't. What's NARI?
So NARI is the National Association of Remodeling Industry,
okay.
And basically it's a group that has a bunch of contractors, remodelers, but they're all licensed, and they have to be licensed. They have to go through a
vetting process.
process.
Okay, a vetting process. Okay.
Yeah. And, with anybody that's ever owned a home, and if you've ever called, maybe off of, I don't know, Craigslist or whatever list it is, you may not know what you're getting. Where at least in this publication, we actually show different projects, different remodeling projects, different ways, new kind of, the latest and greatest in home remodeling. But all the people that are in it are
So
legit.
it's sort of like an Angie's List in a publication, so to speak, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, well, with lots more pictures.
Lots more
and-
pictures, a
yeah.
lot more content, and probably a lot more accessible in and around the area when people are out and about, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Where can you find this magazine at? Where, and any of your magazines for that matter?
Well, there's two ways. So it's at Publix. Almost all the Publix has it in the free magazine section, or they can subscribe to it. It's free, and they can just go to the NARI website, which is www.nari/tampabay.com, and ask for a copy. But we also mail it out directly to, I think it's like 20-some thousand homes here in Tampa Bay. But really, anybody can pick it up, and it's a great resource for if you're considering doing a remodel or even just redoing your bathroom or your kitchen. It's a great resource for companies that are trying to get in front of those consumers.
What about, and I deal a lot with contractors, so I'm going to mention this to them, for contractors that want to get into your magazine and get through the vetting process. How does it work for them if they want to be a contributor to the magazine?
So there's two ways. One, you can become a NARI member, which you go through the approval process, you become a NARI member, or two, they contact us, and what we do is we just take all their information, we send it over to NARI. If NARI approves them, they don't have to become a member. They may want to become a member, but if they don't want to become a member but still want to be in the magazine, as long as they're approved, as long as they're licensed, as long as everything is, there's no issues that are kind of sitting, with like they did something bad or something,
Right. Mm-hmm.
then they allow them in.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to promote that to some of my fellow contractors because I'm always big on them about getting their name out there, and branding, and publication such as yours is definitely a place they need to be then, correct?
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, Ed, I got to wrap up this interview, move on to the next guest, but a great talk with you. I appreciate you so much for coming in this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Ed Suyak, founder and managing director for Mashed Media Group. Learn more about him and his company at mashedmediagroup.com. Time to talk to Dr. Deepa Verma, who is a double board certified integrative medical doctor and owner of Synergistic Integrative Health in Clearwater. Not only does Deepa own her own practice, Deepa is also a guest physician on the daytime show on NBC and is also an author and blogger for several publications. Dr. Verma, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
So first off, I got to talk to you about what is integrative health. You talk about how that's different from conventional and traditional practices, but tell me what integrative health means.
So integrative health it's kind of a marriage between Western medicine and more of the alternative complementary medicine. We talk about Ayurvedic medicine, Eastern medicine. So it's looking at the body as a whole, working, mind, body, and spirit all functioning together, and how everything has to be in sync and has to be in harmony. And it's basically looking at preventative medicine. Instead of waiting for you to get sick and then trying to fix the problem, it's how can we prevent illness? How can we prevent aging? How can we prevent, all the things that are associated with aging,
Okay.
hormonal decline, et cetera.
Okay, so you're a traditional medical doctor, so people can come to you for the normal ailments, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things of that nature, but you also focus in on preventative type of cares as well, right?
Yes. So with those type of problems, what I'm looking at, instead of just prescribing a pharmaceutical drug, which, as we all know, has a lot of adverse side effects when you start it, it's what is causing your high blood pressure. It's not, okay, you have high blood pressure, I'm just going to give you a pill or two. You have diabetes. There is an underlying reason for it. And this is where the difference is between westernized conventional medicine. It's just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. When you have a thyroid problem, when you have weight gain, when you have, blood pressure, diabetes, whatever it is, there's always a root cause of it. So that's what we look at. So my testing I do is very in-depth testing. It's not just scratching the surface. It's looking at inflammatory markers, genetic markers. We're all born with certain things, but it's how we live our life. It's called epigenetics. What gets turned on and what gets turned off because of environment, because of our lifestyle, those type of things.
So this sounds like a practice where if you go and you're really going to spend a lot of time then with the consumer, then this is not something where you're just kind of shuffling people through the waiting room, right?
Not at all.
So what inspired you to launch this practice, Synergistic Integrative Health? Tell me about your entrepreneurial path to this business.
I mean, I was unhappy being a traditional doctor. I found that insurance was very restrictive for me. I don't actually take insurance in my practice right now, but there's always benefits of having insurance. Obviously, we pay for it every month. We want to use it, but mine is more of a cash-based practice because it's unfortunately a lot of things that insurance doesn't recognize. So I was just basically fed up with seeing people just getting sicker and sicker. People are sick and tired of feeling tired and sick. Mm-hmm. So, and I also was in a point in my life where I was just not really happy. I wasn't practicing what I guess I was preaching to the patients, things that I wasn't doing myself. I was living a healthy life. I was exercising. I was taking care of myself. Yet I'm here prescribing pharmaceuticals to the patients. So, I was a traditional doctor for about 10 years. And then, a few years ago, my father passed away on my mom's birthday, which was very unexpected. And he was very healthy. So that to me was like, what's going on here? There's things that doctors were missing. Luckily he had a peaceful death. But at that time I was also going through a divorce, and I was looking to, I have more of an entrepreneurial type of motivation in me. Mm-hmm. I actually was going to open up like a smoothie business, a store, a health food store.
Oh, you're going to go completely off track there.
Totally. But, being a doctor, I thought it would be a great way to, infuse health. But I'm like, wait, I went to school for like 20 million years. Let me, I need to focus on that. And then maybe down the road I can, integrate that type of thing. But it was like a perfect storm. Mm-hmm. Everything together. I said, I need to kind of be born again. I need to tell people to find a new way of living. So I was, sitting there and telling patients, here's your prescription. But they were like, well, what do you do? What do you do to stay healthy or look good? Why don't you age and things like that? So I'm like, I'm just going to open up a practice where I can practice my passion. I can sit down with the patient. I spend 75 to 90 minutes with them. I start my own IVs. I have this hypobaric chamber, which is called the CVAC pod, and a lot of professional athletes use that.
Explain. I see that on your website. What is a hypobaric chamber?
So it's hypobaric, is different from hyper. So it simulates high altitude, and it's why athletes train at high altitude. It helps increase your athletic performance, endurance, and stamina. It basically boosts your body's metabolism and creates new blood cell growth. And so basically makes you like a superhuman. I also use it to treat medical conditions, diabetes, and there's so many implications. But you basically sit in there at 20-minute sessions, and it basically simulates high altitude, goes from zero sea level to up to 22,500 feet in gradated variants. So you're doing about 6 levels in there. Mm-hmm. Each level is about 5 hours long. It really just
what do you
tones
do?
Your
You
body.
just sit in the pod.
You just sit in there. It looks like a modern space egg, like a spacecraft.
Yeah, I see it up on your website there, and just like a pod that you sit in. Mm-hmm. So, but what's different? You're saying it simulates high altitude. I think when you say high altitude, I think of lack of oxygen. I can't breathe.
It is. It's low pressure, low oxygen. So you sit in there for 20 minutes. The key here is it fluctuates about 200 to 400 times. So when athletes go up to train at high altitude, they're just at that one high altitude. That's it. And your body eventually becomes used to it. Just like people who live in the mountains, your body will just get used to it. But by constantly challenging your body, you're making it work so much more. I've had older people who've come out of there after 20 minutes and go, oh my gosh, I feel like I just ran a marathon. That's how much work your body is going through to tolerate those pressure changes, air density changes.
So it's a workout just sitting in that pod.
Absolutely.
Then. So it's not easy. It's not like you're sitting in a tanning bed just letting the tan take over, right?
No, but you feel like you're relaxing. People sit in there, they nap, they watch a movie, they're on their phone doing work. But inside, so when you come out, I've done it myself. I've had, my 3 boys in it, and I've come out. I was a competitive tennis player, and I can go to the gym, and you just feel so strong. You just feel helps you sleep well. It basically from head to toe, it rejuvenates all your cell growth in your body.
So for somebody like myself who's out of shape, fat, overweight, and has no endurance, can I sit in this pod and all of a sudden in sometime I'll be able to run a mile? Does it work like that?
It works like that in conjunction with a healthy lifestyle. I always tell you have to address all aspects of your life. Proper diet, nutrition, addressing all things. Again, that's integrative medicine. It's looking at the whole picture, not fragmented parts where you're dissecting the body. So that's what I kind of really lecture the patients on and counsel them on is you have to have, it's like a Zen balance. Everything has to work. But yeah, sitting in the pod will definitely get you there.
And you mentioned that you use the pod to treat other ailments, like you mentioned diabetes there. How does the pod work on diabetes?
It helps with insulin resistance and stabilizing the glucose levels. So it works on that biomolecular level. It's if you remember biochemistry or biology, it works on those type of levels. It helps with chronic pain. They have talks, in terms of like autism, concussion treatment. It just goes on. They're, doing a lot of studies now. They've done studies out of Stanford and University of Hawaii, but they're working on the studies right now. But it's phenomenal.
So if a patient or somebody right now is hearing this interview and they go to their traditional doctor and they ask about this pod, what's a traditional doctor going to tell them?
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it, and so they got to call you. So
yeah, it is because everyone's used to a hyperbaric chamber. Okay. So you're flooding the body with oxygen, which has its own merit. But this is just very high tech. It's very new, and like I said, it's not much known about it. I write a lot, so I've written like a lot of articles on it. I'm just trying to shed light on it. It's a company based out in San Diego, and it was actually created by Carl Linton, who actually went to University of Tampa back in the 70s. He was a music major, and he actually developed the first prototype for horses, actually, because horses, as you know, are very strong creatures, are vegetarian. So when they race, they have very little downtime to recover. So in order to condition them, he actually built that for them, and then evolved into, about 20 years ago, evolved into using it for human use. And it's just had such great results. A lot of pro athletes use it. Novak Djokovic, I believe, we don't know if he has one, but it's said when he wins those Grand Slams, which he's...
How did you get exposed to the technology to begin with? You say a lot of doctors don't know about this. Mm-hmm. How did you get exposed to it and become a believer in the technology?
I was sitting in a lobby for an appointment, which is weird because I never really go to the doctor, but I picked up a men's journal. It was August of 2013, a few months before I was going to open my practice, and the title was called Building the New Super Athlete, or Superhuman Athlete. And I read it, and I was just... They talked about cryotherapy, stem cell therapy, and then they had the CVAC pod. I was just so intrigued by it. And I took about the next 3 to 4 months just researching it because, I wanted to invest in it, but I didn't want to just, waste my money on it. So it was a big investment, but I just was just floored by, the physiology behind it, the workings behind it. And I said, this is something that I think can be of great use in medicine and health and fitness. So
I'm kind of interested in it myself right now.
Yeah,
So.
well, you should come and try it out.
Got to take a quick break. Currently talking to Dr. Deepa Verma. She is the owner of Synergistic Integrative Health. Learn more about her at drdeepaverma.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305. 0305.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com. Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Just on a bit of slow traffic on westbound I-4 from the Selma Connector to 275 and then through downtown Tampa on 275 out to around Himes. Northbound 275 off the Howard Franklin Bridge. It's a bit slow from around the Kennedy exit area to the Memorial Highway entrance ramp. And the north and southbound lanes to the Suncoast Parkway, a bit of a delay between 54 and 52 due to a crash in the median. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and New York Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Think It Up.
Hi, I'm Nick Jonas, and I'm here to tell you about Think It Up, a new initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join us at thinkitup.org.
Today, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 93. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 79. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 93.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find this show on here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. Learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talking to Dr. Deepa Verma. She's a double board certified physician and owner of Synergistic Integrative Health. Learn more about her and her business at drdeepaverma.com. So, Dr. Verma, tell us, so we were talking about that last segment about that pod, the hypobaric chamber that, induce or kind of brings about those high altitude stress changes on the body and builds up, tolerances and develops, the body and things of that nature. But you offer a number of other services too. Let's talk about some of the other services that you offer.
So basically, when a patient comes in, I always like to start with a basic, very in-depth blood work, which I actually do run through insurance. There's blood work. I do some genetic salivary testing, which is really neat because it's looking at all the genes in your body and how you respond to diet and exercise, how we can develop a genetically appropriate diet to lose more weight. And from there, there's so many other specialized tests we can do. I do adrenal testing, hormone testing, micronutrient testing. I mean, whatever it is, I offer it. And then we develop a plan of action. People will come in and they'll tell me exactly what they want. I'm tired. I have no sex drive. I'm getting older. I just want to feel good. I want to feel young again.
Do you kind of hear the same complaints over and over again?
There is a theme. There's a recurring theme. Mm-hmm. And my practice is 50% women, 50% men. I do see kids. My oldest patient, I think, is 93. Mm-hmm. My youngest is 5 years old. So people come in they're just sick. They don't get answers from their traditional doctor and their wit's end. So from there, do you need IV nutrient therapy perhaps? Do you just want to boost? Are we treating a migraine or a hangover or the flu? What are we treating? Then, the pod's obviously there. I do weight loss. I do detox. I have, a very high-tech scale called the in-body scan, which measures, your muscle mass, your water weight. So it's great for people who are really trying to lose weight. Mm-hmm. And hormonal therapy, just really anything that people are looking for that we're hearing a lot about these days. We all watch Dr. Oz and all those kind of progressive shows, and those have really opened up the doors. People come in, they know what they want. Mm-hmm. I've already started taking turmeric. I'm doing yoga. I'm drinking coconut water. And that's all based on Ayurvedic medicine. So I guide them and I help them. I give them the tools. Yeah, I mean, what's causing all this, I guess, the feeling of, lethargic and tiredness and all that? Is it our food? What's in our food that's eating? Because I have those things you describe. I have them. What's going on? Is it what I'm eating and stuff? Absolutely. I did a segment on the daytime show called Overfed and Undernourished. Our food, being, such an advanced country, we're probably worse in terms of food of like a third world country. We get no nutrition at all. We have the highest rates of micronutrient deficiency. I call it an epidemic, things like vitamin D and magnesium. So we're very, very sick. We don't have that type of, immunity anymore. We've killed our gut, poor gut health, overuse of antibiotics, just poor processed foods. We have no immunity at all. So rates of cancer and diabetes and obesity and heart disease, they're all increasing. And they're all linked to the same issues, just your inside's very inflamed and there's no immunity and there's no protection anymore. We drink too much soda. We drink too much coffee. We don't exercise enough. We've become a lazy culture, basically. We're very educated, but we don't have time. I'm stressed, so we don't have time. Yeah. You have to find time. I have 3 kids. I own a business. I work full time. I make it a point to go to the gym. If I have to wake up at 5 a.m, I do it, and I go to the gym. There's just no time for excuse. I tell my patients, if you really want it, you're going to do it.
What's one of the biggest dangers inside foods? I eat, pretty much whatever's put in front of me. Is it the processed stuff? Is it the sugars, the salts? If I'm going to cut out, obviously I can't make that switch to a healthy diet all at once. I got food addiction. I'm addicted to fast foods and restaurant foods.
And that's a genetic thing, actually, which I actually test for.
Really? See, I can't.
So you can't feel bad about it.
Yeah, when I try to eat healthy, and I've lost 30 to 40 pounds like 3 or 4 times. I've done it before, but I can only do it in times of low stress, and I've not done it since I've been in real estate and doing a radio show. It's very stressful. I go to food for comfort, and I can't do it. I need times of low stress, and this food addiction. So you're saying this is a genetic a component of my body then too?
Absolutely. We've just discovered genes that are encoded for obesity that unfortunately, no matter how much you're going to try to diet and try to eat healthy, you're just not going to lose weight. We were talking about you have a food addiction. There are genes that actually, for eating disinhibition, you're going to eat out of comfort. Maybe you're stressed or depressed or things like that. And that's why that genetic salivary testing, I just did a talk, not too long ago on that. It's a company that does the genetic salivary testing, but it's so important to see what we were born with, because when people say, oh my gosh, she lost 20 pounds on the same diet and I only lost 5 pounds, it's not your fault. There's something else. But we do talk about food. We talk about, convenience. We talk about processed foods, TV dinners, things that lack no nutrition. We have to go, you spend time. Instead of going and picking up that burger, I go home and I make quinoa in 5 minutes and put some salmon in the oven.
What should I focus on cutting out of my diet before anything? I drink a lot of sodas, a lot of Diet Cokes, but I go and I eat burgers and fries and all that stuff. I mean, if you're going to advise me, what should I focus on cutting out first? Where would I start?
You named it right there. Soda is probably the biggest, that's going to be a big cause of you having insulin resistance and diabetes.
But I drink the Diet Coke, though.
Diet Coke is actually worse than regular Coke.
I know. I keep hearing that, so now I'm drinking regular Coke at times, too, thinking I'm doing something good for my body.
All our foods are laced with so many, toxic chemicals, basically. We think it's healthy, but it's not. Fat-free, carb-free. We don't there's so many things. All our foods laced with so many chemicals and poisons that, when you're looking at coffee or juices or those colored drinks, things like sports drinks, for example, they have brominated vegetable oil in there, which is flame retardant chemical. So, I would never give my boys that. And I tell parents, give them coconut water. It's Mother Nature's most perfect sports drink. So it's eliminating things that are artificial.
Yeah.
You eat the rainbow of colors, make sure you get it from fruits and vegetables.
I need the sodas, though, because I have a caffeine addiction. Is coffee a safe substitute to, get that caffeine? Or is there a lot of dangers with coffee
There's
out there?
Still a lot of dangers. On my website, I have, some articles that I've written so many different articles. I have stuff on coffee and dairy and soda. It's great if people can read them and understand. Coffee, still, there are negative drawbacks. We've heard a lot about adrenal fatigue and hormonal imbalance. Those are
even just
causes.
Straight black coffee without any
Absolutely.
sugar or cream thrown in?
Tea. Tea has 50% less caffeine, but you still get it with a lot of antioxidants and minerals. But there's natural ways to do it. Green tea extract, which also helps with weight loss. They're natural ways to get caffeine that are not going to be toxic to the body.
Yeah, I was going to ask you then, so you recommend tea as a good substitute for, caffeine addiction. What type of tea? Just basic green tea? I of course, would go to the Lipton iced tea with a bunch of sugar in it. And
that's where you have to see sugar is our main culprit. Sugar and animal protein. When I talk about things like meat and dairy, there have been so many documentaries that have come out recently. But yeah, that's where you have to kind of cut back. And when I talk about tea, it's try to do unsweetened tea, do black tea. And if you're going to sweeten your stuff, don't use any sugar substitutes. Stevia is the only acceptable one. Everything else is, carcinogenic. Acesulfame, aspartame, things like Splenda and Sweet and Low. So that's where we begin, and that's how I kind of educate people and guide them to make the right decisions.
Well, hey, great conversation here, and I picked up some tips. I always love talking to my guests, especially medical doctors, because I'm talking about myself here, and hopefully I know I share a lot of the same afflictions that half the population out there does with a food addiction, weight problems, things of that nature. Dr. Verma, real quick, got to wrap it up. Where is your practice located?
I'm located on McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater, so it's right next to Countryside Hospital.
And what's the best way for people that are interested in visiting you to get in touch with you?
I just, go on the website. All my information's there. I'm very personable with people. I don't have a nurse or receptionist. So you call, I answer the phone, you email me, I respond. So, yeah, just go on the website, all the information.
All right, and that website, again, drdeepaverma.com, drdeepaverma.com. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney. Be sure to check me out again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHC. And it's back to work Monday, so hope everybody has a great week. And again, be sure to check out my website, tampabayradio.com. Have a great day, everybody.